Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And I don't know what's in the water supply this past week, but it has been intelligence central for, quite frankly, a good chunk of this week because yesterday was Russia, today is China, and apparently Chinese intelligence has been inside New York's state government for years. Now here's what's going on. A former aide to two New York governors was just charged this past Tuesday with acting as an illegal agent of the Chinese government who used her state positions in New York to subtly advance Beijing's agenda in exchange for financial benefits worth millions of dollars. Now, we're talking about Linda Sun, and she held numerous posts in New York state government, including Deputy Chief of Staff for Governor Kathy Hochul and Deputy Diversity Officer for former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who preceded Hochul. And she, again, was arrested this Tuesday morning along with her husband, Chris Hu, and basically they are sitting in a $4 million house on Long Island. Good enough for government work. Now, federal prosecutors said that Sun, at the request of Chinese officials, blocked representatives of the Taiwanese government from having access to the governor's office and also shaped the governmental messaging from New York to align with priorities of the Chinese government, among other things. In return, her husband got help for his business activities in China. That was a financial boost that prosecutors said allowed the couple to buy their multi-million-dollar property in Manhasset, New York, a condominium in Hawaii for $1.9 million, and luxury cars, including a 2024 Ferrari, according to the indictment. Pretty good taste. Now, Sun also received smaller gifts, the indictment said, including tickets to performances by visiting Chinese orchestra and ballet groups and Nanjing-style salted ducks that were prepared by the personal chef of a Chinese government official and then delivered to her parents' home in New York. Now, the case is part of a broader Justice Department effort to root out secret agents for the Chinese government operating in the United States. And in recent years, authorities have charged Chinese nationals with not only covertly advancing Beijing's interests, but also with harassing and intimidating dissidents on the government's behalf. Last year, for example, the Justice Department charged a pair of men with establishing a secret police station for the state of China in New York City while under the direction and control, obviously, of the Chinese government. That is something I talked about, where these major cities where there are heavy ethnic Chinese populations that have come in or immigrated from China, and essentially the Chinese government is trying to keep a crackdown on that due to issues of Tibet, Falun Gong, and a whole bunch of others. Now, if these recent allegations are true, they show that Chinese authorities were able to gain influence at the highest levels of state government in New York for nearly a decade. And on top of it, again, it could be everywhere else. Now, this is obviously a twofold problem here as I look at it. The first one, coming from my world, is the security and privacy side of this. Governments have a lot of secrets. By virtue of it, governments also have intelligence of their own. And if that is being essentially shared with another government, you lose a competitive advantage against that government. On top of it, if they are trying to shape and craft a message in the same way that I was talking about yesterday with Russian intelligence, basically spinning up a media outlet and then paying influencers basically to essentially spew Russian propaganda, go see that for the record for full detail. But this really underscores the problem that we have here. Now, the other side of the coin, outside of the security and privacy and state security side of it, is the actual problem that essentially this gives the Chinese population that is here in the United States and in other places where the Chinese government may be doing these kinds of things. There are plenty of ethnic Chinese here. There are plenty of offspring of Chinese people here that are deeply loyal to the United States, that don't want to be anywhere else, that could tell Beijing, go pound sand in the same way that there are Russians here that would go tell Putin to jump out a window, which we all hope he does. So by virtue of that, it essentially starts to harm the optics of this. We saw something similar after 9/11. We saw a rash of essentially anti-Islamic attacks by Americans, against the population that, for the most part, is not a fan of the Osama bin Ladens of the world. In the same way, there's going to be plenty of native populations here that are an issue, So like where my ties are, for my heritage, I don't have really ties back there. I don't actually speak the languages of my grandparents. or actually my parents, as I'm firstborn American. So these are the things that we really have to talk about, and we really have to understand as well, that while they can hide and blend into, let's say, that population, and here in Chicago, we have an amazing Chinatown population, awesome food, they can hide within that population, but also understand most of them are not going to be these people. And I think that's an important message to remember, because quite frankly, few bad apples, and it really is true. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.